leaves are changing, the air is getting colder, winter is not far away. What a perfect time to go buy a boat. A high-performance jet boat. Let's go take a look. Friday traffic. This is where I did not want to have a problem. No breakdown lane. Alright, well, the good news is I bought a boat. Maybe that's the bad news. The other bad news is I don't have it with me, and that's because the trailer and or tires were in a little bit worse shape than I expected. So unfortunately, I'm gonna do what I should have done this morning and grab my car trailer and see if we can get the whole thing up on the trailer. And I'll give you guys a whole background on all of this here shortly, but I'm just trying to get the boat and then we can talk a little bit more about it. So whether it's tonight or tomorrow morning, we're gonna grab the trailer, turn this whole thing around, and go spend another 3 hours in the car. So hopefully it's all worth it. I don't know. You guys are along for the ride. It'll be a good time for you guys at least. sketch. That took over an hour of like, move a little bit, double check everything, move a little bit. But the long or the short is that trailer from the edge of the tire to the edge of the tire is 91 inches wide, and my car trailer is about, the deck part is about 83. So using 2 jacks, a bunch of, every single piece of spare wood I had at my house, the winch, a lot of patience, a lot of shuffling stuff around. I've got the boat trailer with the boat on it, on my car trailer. I got it as far forward as I can, basically using the winch. The front axles are over my rear axles, but there's still way, way less tongue weight than I would like. I just moved my ramps up to the front and then put both of my jacks on the front of the trailer as well, and it's a little bit better now, but it'd be a lot better if we had the weight more evenly distributed, but you know, what are you gonna do? So, gonna take it really slow. We're about to get on the highway right now. Hopefully make it through Boston, no problems, and just cruise slowly home. Hopefully we'll be good. Hopefully I don't talk to you guys till then. See ya. Now that's more of the tongue weight I like to see. This thing's gonna drive like a dream. I feel like all I've done this whole weekend is load stuff, strap stuff down, trailer stuff. Let's get it home and unload this. Holy mackerel. We made it. Finally, after what seemed like 2 days of, at least 2 trips down to Boston, we can finally get to the meat and potatoes of this video, which is a 1977 Anthony jet boat with a big old 460 Ford big block. So we're gonna go through the whole boat here in a little bit, but here's the trailer setup I was describing yesterday. You can see that the trailer is basically as wide as my car trailer, which you can see this tire is just hanging in the air. So I basically had to sketchily pull this on, as you guys saw yesterday, then absolutely crank down on it on a bunch of blocks under the axles and the frame up there. And that's how we did it. But we got this thing home. There was a bunch of traffic in Boston, which was annoying, but also meant that I got to go really slow through like the tunnels and turns and stuff that had a bunch of bumps that I was kind of sketched out about. And we made it here. Like I said, I ended up moving my ramps from the storage spot on the dovetail up here, and then took both of my jacks out of the bed of the truck and put them up here too, and strapped them all down. I actually already had to rob this strap to get the tractor there, which I'll talk about in a second, but that helped significantly. Got a little bit of weight on the tongue, because before I did this, I think we had basically negative weight on the tongue, which is not great, dangerous, and you could hear the hitch just kind of rattling up and down. It was very unnerving for me, so I'm glad that this helped a lot, because I really could not go any farther forward. All that and time crunch to get home, dump this thing, and then head another hour north for a wedding last night made for a stressful day, but we made it to the wedding on time, no problems, and now it's Sunday and we can go through this thing. But before we talk about this beautiful jet boat, which is going to be one of the new projects on the channel, I'm trying to add some boat content here since boating is a big part of my life, let's get it unsketched here. Let's remove this trailer from this trailer. Right now we're being like Exhibit. It's like, yo dog, I heard you like trailers, so I put a trailer on your trailer. We want to undo that, which is where this comes in. I'm borrowing the in-laws tractor and dump trailer to do some work around the house the next few weeks. And I'm wondering if I can use the bucket or forks, which are right there, to just lift the back of the boat and hopefully save some time and, you know, make the tractor do a little work for me here. So I'm gonna get this unloaded, then hopefully bring it over there and see if we can get this boat and trailer back down on the ground. And then we'll go through the whole thing.
We need more speed.
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. She can't take any more.
Damn.
But it didn't.
No, really, one wheel.
I saw the whole thing. I lived it. Piece of cake. Well, it's the beginning of what could be another long day here in the garage. And if you guys are anything like me, you always got a lot going on, whether it's long days in the garage, going to the gym, doing stuff around the house. And that could mean sweat and body odor. And nobody likes body odor. And on the other side, nobody wants the guy that has got the overpowering cologne on or deodorant on. Like that guy, Gary, in the finance department at the office, who's got that cologne you can smell coming down the hall from a mile away. We don't want that. That's why I started using Mando. This product is all about controlling odor and preventing it in the first place, not masking it. They have a full line of doctor-developed products, all designed to control odor and stop it in its tracks. Not by masking it, but by attacking the bacteria that causes the odor to begin with. They've got whole body deodorant in a spray form. They've also got the whole body deodorant in a cream form. They've got my personal favorite so far, their body wash. It smells great, but again, is not overpowering. The bourbon leather is a great scent. Your standard deodorant plus sweat control, and their deodorant wipes for quick on-the-go application. And what's most important to me is that this stuff is made with better ingredients. You're not gonna find any of the harsh chemicals that you'll find in a lot of off-the-shelf products these days. So if the last thing you wanna worry about is body odor, you want a product that just works, check out Mando. So check out the link in the description. I've got a discount code down there to save you guys a little bit. Don't mask it, Mando it. All right, let's get back to the action. Whoops. I mean, it's pretty much off.
I hope my dad doesn't watch this episode.
Oh, he's gonna watch.
Now what do you do?
Well, I thought the tractor would make it less sketchy, but no. Just as sketchy. Possibly more. Almost rolled this thing. I don't know if this tire was low before. Kind of noticed it seemed like it was and decided to ignore it. And then looks like it fell off the bead completely, and then the whole tractor tipped this way. That tire was completely up in the air. Only reason this thing stopped is because my jack that fell down, which was supporting most of the weight, basically got jammed in there. But we didn't lose the tractor, we didn't lose the boat. We're most of the way off. I can hopefully get some ramps under these wheels and maybe just, you know, roll it the rest of the way under the weight of the axles and eliminate all this from the equation. But I wonder if AAA would have just flatbedded this thing for a couple $100 and I could have been, you know, at the beach or something instead of spending the whole weekend sketchily getting this thing on and off a trailer. But I digress. All right, let's do some other redneck stuff and get this thing the rest of the way off, and then we can actually talk about this boat. Finally, off the trailer, got this thing pulled forward, hooked up to my truck. Let's get into it. Next day, I was so tired yesterday after the wedding, staying up too late, and then running around all day, loading trailers, unloading trailers, getting this thing unloaded. After loading it up all day Saturday, so next evening, let's talk about this thing. So yes, this is a new to me 1977 Anthony. It was advertised as a 17 foot, but it might be 18. I honestly haven't even run a tape measure across it yet, but it's 77 Anthony 18 foot jet boat. Now, if you had a pulse back in the late 70s, there's a 30% chance you were making jet boats. Everyone was doing it. These things were all the rage back then. Just take a 17 to 20 foot hull, put a big block Ford, Chevy, Oldsmobile in it. Boom, you've got yourself a cheapish hot rod boat. So anyways, I did some research on Anthony because that is not a brand that I had heard of before. Some of the big ones are Tahiti, Sleek Craft, Eliminator. I don't know, there's a whole bunch of them out there, but I had not heard of this one. I found one thread that was like 20 years old that some guy was looking for information on Anthony jet boats, and Anthony's son commented and said that Anthony, aka Tony, his dad, used to work as a rigger at Tahiti, and he and another guy left and bought the discontinued molds from Tahiti and started Anthony jet boats. So they made about 100 boats a year for 8 years, so about 800 of these exist before they went out of business in the early 80s or whatever. But yeah, as far as I know, this is basically a Tahiti hull. If anyone else has any information on Tahiti boats or Anthony boats or any other information you can give me on this hull, let me know. But some quick background. I've been around boats my whole life. I got my boater's license before I got my driver's license. The day I turned 16, I worked at marinas in high school and college. I've had all kinds of boats, inboard, outboards, jet skis, you name it. I've either driven it or have owned it. Jet boats, not one of them. Zero experience with this thing. Or these things. These things are also incredibly hard to find on the East Coast, especially the Northeast. This was the only one I could find for sale, and I've been looking for a long time. I think there was one other one for sale, and it was like 20 grand for basically something slightly nicer than this. These things are really popular out west, California, Arizona, but they are hard to find on the East Coast, so I jumped on this one. But the point I'm trying to make is, if I say anything incorrectly in this video, let me know in the comments. Help me out here. Any jet boat knowledge, I'm all ears. Avid boater, not an avid jet boater. Also, we're going to talk about how I have no carb experience at all. We'll get into that in a second. Whoops. A little bit of technical difficulties. It's actually 3 days later. I was editing the video last night and realized that after I was playing with my dog, I wasn't actually recording. So, quick walk around. The original gel coat on this thing is in fantastic shape. The worst of it is up here. I'm actually not sure. Yeah, you guys can see that. Just got a little bit of cracking in this area. Previous owner says it's from snow load. It could also just be from 50 years of being in the sun, but you take a few steps back. Not terrible. The rest of the boat is really, really nice for being, 50 years old. The original gel coat, paint design is all there. Super, super sharp looking boat. Inside, as far as I can see, all solid. The stringers are good. This is what I believe is a full stringer boat. You got a stringer that runs all the way the length of the hull on both sides, and then these little guys right here. Anyways, the power plant here is a 460 Ford big block, which allegedly has like 1 hour of runtime on it. We've got this Offenhauser or whatever PowerPort 360 plenum. This is a Holley 4-barrel carb. I can probably pull the part number off that and see what it is. Another, you probably used to be highly polished aluminum intake manifolds. And this is the best part here. These Bassett headers, these are water injected. You can see the things down there that inject the water into each port. These are like $2,600. So when you think about the fact that I paid $6 grand for the whole boat, again, still haven't heard it run, but when you got expensive parts like this, it makes it a little more worth it. Same thing with the Panther jet. Allegedly was totally rebuilt at the time the rebuilt motor was put in. We got some fancy distributor here, fancy Mallory ignition coil. Yeah, and then just, you know, alternator is really your only accessory. That's pretty much it. Yeah, we got some nav lights up here, and there's one in the rear that's actually in the bed of my truck because I didn't want it to fall off during transport. But really, really happy with the condition of the hull. We could give this thing a quick buff, and it would probably shine even more. Obviously, we got some interior work to do, but yeah, we'll get there. Here's your main power distribution block. I have no idea what wiring is factory and what's not. Here's your, I guess you call this a bell housing, but this should basically just be the flywheel that is then bolted to like a yoke that then goes to the drive shaft into the pump there. And that's pretty much it. Not sure if there's a serviceable grease or greasable thing in there. I'll probably check that, but first we got to get this thing running. First things first. Okay, now back to the footage that I recorded 3 days ago. Looks like we got some aluminum fuel tanks that are here, although they're not hooked up. Clearly, previous owner told me that he was just trying to get this thing tuned and dialed in, and never got around to using these, which are nice, but he just has this, obviously, temporary fuel system hooked up here. I'm told this is some sort of oil accumulator of sorts. Don't really know. It's got a valve here and an AN line that runs, incorrectly built AN line that runs from here back to here, which is teed in with the oil pressure line, which I assume comes up to here. Other cool part of this boat is previous owner owned it for 30 years. He bought it in 1997, or almost 30 years. He bought it in 1997 in Massachusetts and has owned it since then. Said he's used it for about that 1 hour. He said this motor was basically new when he bought it. So thankfully he was willing to let it go. Finally saw that he wasn't getting any use out of it, but I think it's pretty sweet. I got a stack of paperwork I can show you guys a little bit later. We're already losing daylight, so let's get through the rest of this here quick. Tucker, what do you think? So that's the 460. Step out here. This is a Panther jet. There was a couple different brands of jet back in the day. There was Berkeley was the big one, then I think Dominator and a couple others. I think these aren't most guys' favorite. There's some upgrades that you can do to these to make them better, but I mean, hey, it's a jet. Come inside again. We've got up front here, I don't know if this is factory or not. I kind of want to remove this and see what's under there. I haven't seen this on most jet boats, so I assume someone added those. Got a very late 70s, early 80s looking tri-spoke steering wheel. Of course, is it even a jet boat if it doesn't have a footprint gas pedal, which does work. Carb is not seized, so that's good. Got a key. No battery in the boat. These two switches, I assume one is nav lights. I'm not sure what the other one is. Tack, temp gauge, oil pressure, and battery voltage. That's about it. Also, this is your forward reverse shift control. Basically controls the bucket on the jet drive there. This is broken because I assume someone tried to move it, and my guess is that the cable is seized. So we're gonna have to get some parts for this. It looks like it's an old Morse unit, so that bolts right there. You control your throttle with the foot and your forward reverse with this, as opposed to most, you know, outboards and inboard outboards where your throttle is here as well as your forward and reverse. This is just forward and reverse. There's no throttle here. This is directly linked to the bucket back there. Not too much else to see up here. Again, no rot as far as I can see. These two footballs were actually stuffed in the headers to, I assume, keep critters and rodents out. This red carpet is not my favorite, but very period correct. I'm sure we could do something about that. Ooh, is this a mag light? Knockoff mag light? Bummer. Obviously, had some issues with the trailer, which is the reason I didn't take it home on the trailer in the first place. This tire was basically in a tree, And the rest of them, I checked yesterday. Their date code is from 2002, so they are dry rotted. And I was not sure the condition of the bearings or anything else. There's also some sketchy stuff up here, although, you know, not terribly structural. I actually spun all 4 bearings while the trailer was in the air, and all 4 of those feel good. If I'd known that on Saturday and I'd known the hassle I was going to go through to get it on the trailer and off the trailer, I might have just put a tire on it at a local tire shop and driven it. But the very minimum, this trailer needs 4 new tires and probably a little bit of metal and welding work. But it is sick. It's got the very period correct 14-inch Kragers right there on the trailer. So, you know, with a fresh coat of paint, and, you know, picture this back in the 70s, this thing was all that. Came with a mooring cover, which desperately needs a wash, but it is Sunbrella fabric, and it's got some cool orange and yellow. This is what's left of the seats. I don't know if these are original or not. I think it's been reupholstered at one point, unless the seats were originally that orange color. But the previous owner said that the rodents got to them, and so he basically just took them out, and this is all we're left with. So we clearly have some interior work to do. Now, always the important question, what did you pay for this thing? He was asking $7,000, and it was advertised on Craigslist for like 2 weeks in August. And I had saved his number and was trying to get down there to look at it. He was an old guy, only had a landline, was kind of difficult to get a hold of. Our schedules didn't always align. So I finally had some time this weekend to go down and look at it. As soon as I saw the hull, I basically knew I wanted it. Like I said, there is none of these for sale on the East Coast, in the Northeast. There's one that my buddy found at a gas station a couple weeks ago that I went and looked at, and motor was completely junk, blown up, had been sitting outside for like 13 years. Hull was in rough shape, poorly repainted, trailer was awful, needed everything. Guy wanted $6,000 for it. So when I saw this thing, as soon as I saw that the hull was as good as it was and as nice as it was pretty much sold right there. The motor and the really expensive headers and everything else was just kind of a bonus. But I ended up negotiating him down to $6,000, which if I was out in Lake Havasu, Arizona, maybe an okay deal. Out here, to me, I think it's a screaming deal because there's literally nothing else to compare it to. So who knows? But I'm happy with it. I think we can have some fun with this thing. Only problem is right here. I know absolutely nothing about carburetors. I've probably owned 100 vehicles at this point. You guys have seen a lot of them on the channel. Only one of them had a carburetor, and that was my 1969 Camaro that I drove off the trailer, drove a quarter mile down the road to get the thumbnail for that video, drove it back, put it inside, and promptly removed the motor. I know nothing about how any of this works. You know, I know the fuel goes in there. That's about it. So if this thing doesn't run, we're gonna be in for it. Also, distributors, you know, apparently timing, you just twist this one way or the other. The only way I know how to adjust timing is on a computer using HP tuners in a timing table. I used to own a timing gun, and I think I threw it away because I never thought that I would own anything like this. So it is going to be interesting getting this thing to run. Previous owner claims it runs absolutely perfect and smooth. So I already checked this. Your dipstick is up here kind of through the water pump area. Oil is clean. God knows when it was changed, but it does look fresh. Probably because it was changed and then put away for the winter and then never run again, but who knows. Got a water separator here, fuel pumps right there, and no way, it's a Motorcraft FL1A oil filter. That's the same oil filter you run on like the modular Fords that we're so familiar with on this channel. So there is a battery tray. Looks like both cables are black, so that's always good. Is a nice aluminum battery tray though. Of course, the boat didn't come with a battery, so I'm gonna have to go buy one. In the meantime, in a pinch, I might just grab the one that we already bought in this video out of the winch for the trailer, and you know, see if we got power where we need to get power. And then the next thing is figuring out how to get water to both the motor and the jet. I'm thinking that I need to tee in right here. This goes to the jet, this goes to the motor. but I'm not sure. Honestly, this is going to be a learning experience. The other thing you need to be careful of here is you're supposed to start the motor and turn on the water to the headers, because you obviously don't want water spraying in here, as it could, and if the motor's not running, as it could end up in your cylinders here. So again, all new to me, know nothing about it, so we're gonna learn as we go. But we're already running out of daylight. It's that time of year now where it gets dark real quick after work. Meantime, let's throw a battery in this thing and see if it catches fire, and or if we have power. Ooh, carpenter in it, don't love that. I'll have to look up what size battery you need for a big block Ford. Probably one that is far larger than this. Alright. Nothing on fire yet. No big sparks. Let's see what we got. Hey! Cages all move. Or they did. What the hell is that? That's probably our nav lights and it doesn't work. Oh, that's the bilge. Okay, so this is bilge. That's probably nav lights. It didn't do anything. Did we dare hit the starter for a second? Yep. Okay. So did want to show you guys what I saw when I scoped the cylinders. Let's get a couple on the other side this time. Let's see what we see. Oh yeah, she's been freshly honed, it looks like. Some reasonably fresh, decent looking crosshatch. Pretty much all around. The cylinder walls look great. Had pumped the carb a few times, so that's probably fuel sitting on the piston there. What does the piston say? Let's see if we can get a number or something. Part number, anything? Oh, look at that. There it is right there. Proof she's been rebuilt. These are 30 thousandths over pistons. What do you know? Even though we don't have any receipts or anything, we now have proof that this is a rebuilt motor with 30 thou over pistons. Yes, maybe later we'll check out the bottom end, see if that's all stock, maybe pop a valve cover off and see what's under there, but I'm real happy with how that looks. Jesus, why is everything about this trailer always so sketchy? Well, good morning. It is actually like 3 days later. It's getting to that time of year where I kind of gave up filming after work because I really only had like 30 minutes of daylight. So I retreated into the garage for a few days after work this week and started to tackle the paint on the Marauder. But I'm off today, so that means we are working on the jet boat, and priority number one, let's get this thing running. Let's see if this thing can fire up and see what I got here as far as an engine. So theoretically, the only things I should need to do that is a battery. Just picked this one up the other day. Marine, deep cycle battery, 1,000 cold cranking amps, or marine cranking amps, I guess they call them. I got a new water separator and a new fuel filter. Those were both in line right here. I mean, this one is probably old. This one looked okay, but was probably going to come apart inside, and we don't want to send any junk up to the carb. Just cheap insurance. The fuel tank was completely empty, bone dry, which I guess is a good thing. So I went and got 5 gallons of fresh 93. We'll see if I have to replace these lines. They are, sock rolled. Also got a new shift cable and shift lever in the box here. So if we get this thing running and it seems like things are headed in the right direction, we can work on installing those. But before we do any of that, we got to run to the tire shop. I got 4 tires ordered for these things, just so we can have this trailer mobile. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, if I'm going to invest time and effort into this trailer yet. We'll look at that a little bit closer later. But these were 14-inch tires. I, of course, got the cheapest ones I could find. They were about 40 bucks a piece, so I figure if we have new rubber on a set of Kragers, regardless, that will be worth it to have these wheels and tires. And if we end up restoring this trailer, that's good too. But either way, if I can get this trailer mobile for about 200 bucks, I'm cool with that. So let's hit the tire shop, drop the tires and wheels off, let them do their thing, and then in the meantime we'll come back here, see if we can get stuff situated as far as the motor is concerned, see if we can hear this thing bark off, and see if I can figure out what I'm doing with carburetors. Guy like an aircraft mechanic or something. Everything's got these like safety wire things on them instead of hose clamps. Kind of interesting. We are making some headway on the old 460 big block jet boat. Got all the fuel lines replaced, fuel filters. This is all fuel line I had laying around, which is nice. New fuel filter here. I already got some fuel primed in there. I was hoping to kind of get the diaphragm wet on the fuel pump. Changed the fuel water separator, and that thing was seized on there, and when I was trying to get it off, I ended up cracking this piece of wood, which kind of a bummer, but also, no big deal. We could easily replace that or make a metal mount, and that ain't going anywhere right now. So I think the fuel system is set. Got my boat tank back in there and hooked up. I didn't replace this line just because it seems to be in okay shape, and this is a low pressure line. I mean, this is all pretty low pressure stuff anyways. Battery is in. I bought this female to female coupler for the jet drive here. Let me open this. So what we're gonna do is turn on the water to the jet, hopefully start the boat, start the motor, and then we will turn on the water for the headers. I got 2 hoses hooked up here. For the 117th time, again, no idea what I'm doing, but I think we have everything we need here to hopefully attempt to start this thing. Got some weed whacker fuel right here. I think I'm gonna pour some down the vent tubes here, hopefully fill the bowls, and we'll see if this thing pulls fuel and maybe fires up. Here goes nothing. Fuel pump works. Getting fuel. Spark. Oh, that was sick. Still waiting for fuel. Starters work. Alright, we got a fuel leak somewhere here. Woo! She's alive! Sounded really good. I forgot to look. Did we get any oil pressure? Totally forgot to look. See oil moving there. That's a good sign. We obviously got a fuel leak here. I'm not sure if it's from the line right here or the gasket itself. We'll have to look at that, but that is a good first step. Let me double check everything, see if I can figure out where that leak's coming from, see if these tires for the trailer are gonna be done anytime soon. We'll go from there. I knew more about carburetors. Turn the idle up a little bit. Oh, see what the carb is doing. Runs though.
Oh boy.
All right, just picked the wheels and tires up. Got these brand new, cheapest tires I could find, sorting on the size for the Kragers here. These are all set. Got the other 3 in the Lightning. In the meantime, even though I know nothing about carburetors or really what I'm doing, I did what I've done with the, snowblower and weed whacker and things like that in the past. Just took it apart. It actually looked really clean inside, but, just blew through all the orifices, and looks like I got a small leak. Maybe need to tighten that up. The base gasket was a little bit loose, but I don't know if that's had anything to do with it. I replaced a vacuum cap down there that looked like it had some cracks. I don't know if I changed anything at all. Just did my due diligence to make sure the bowls weren't full of, slime and debris, which they weren't. I don't know. Let's see if it runs any different now. All right. Well, I don't really know what I changed, but something changed. Thing runs good, it seems like. I turned on the water to go to the headers here and didn't see any water coming out yet, but then you guys saw at the end there, it's kind of started spewing out this one, steam anyways. You can hear it sizzling in there. But yeah, battery was charging, which means alternator works, the tach works. Oil pressure was about 55, 60. Oh, okay. Looks like we got a small leak there. But yeah, man. We have got ourselves a big block jet boat. Let's get these wheels and tires on. See what else we need to do to hopefully maybe get this thing on the water tomorrow. Running out of daylight already. problem. That is also a problem. Tires are on though. She's a little heavy in the rear with the big block, but we got clearance. I don't know, guys. I think we got to call it for today. Lake is about 50 minutes from here. Watch us charging. It's got to be like 5:30 right now. It's going to be dark. Trailer lights definitely do not work because the plug is not plugged in and doesn't reach. Completely, I mean, the bearings feel great. I'm not too worried about that, but completely untested trailer. There's no way for me to hook up the safety chains, which is a big problem for me. So as much as it pains me to do this right now, I think that I'm gonna call it. And I'm actually headed to the lake because I was hoping to run the boat tomorrow after we do a quick family hike, maybe see some foliage. But if I have time, tomorrow when I get back, we'll hopefully wrap up these few loose ends and maybe go back to the lake and try and run it. I don't know. It seems kind of delusional and silly, but I still have to replace that cable, still have to replace the throttle, thing. I don't know. Probably delusional, but we'll see how tomorrow goes. Catch you guys then. A couple hours later, well, actually a few days later, but a couple hours of work later, we have got forward, reverse, and neutral-ish, somewhere in that range. New billet lever there, new cable ran under there. She's butter smooth, so now you can see we're fully open. You can see the impeller way in there. Just greased that thing up. So she runs. She's got steering, forward and reverse. Got a new chain on the trailer. Trailer lights, just got this adapter and wired it in. The trailer lights work. We've got 4 new tires. Got myself an oar, a very sturdy seat. We're good to go. Here's the old shift lever, just cracked and broken, probably original. Super fun, by the way, crawling under the dash of that boat, working in a very, very limited quarters, trying to, get a 3/8 nut on both sides to clamp the cable there. One of those moments where you're like, you know what they say, the best days of boat ownership are the day you buy it and the day you sell it. Hopefully not a sign of things to come, but we'll see. Anyways, here's the old cable. This is on the control side. Not seized. A little stiff, but not seized. So somewhere in the middle, this thing seized up. So that's kind of common. Sometimes it happens on steering cables on boats. Sometimes it happens on the shift cable. It just happens once in a while, especially if this thing sat for the better part of 30 years. But we got that all fixed up. Today is Thursday. It's kind of cold and windy today. It is middle of October in New Hampshire. But I'm really hoping to go boating tomorrow. I'd like to get this thing out once this year before winter moves in, just to see what I got here. So I think I'm going to do a quick test run of the trailer to see if we can even make it 40 minutes north, 45 minutes north of the lake. And then hopefully, if everything goes well, tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, I think it's supposed to be sunny and a little bit warmer, hopefully not too windy. You can see if this thing floats, see if it moves. See what I got here for all in right now, about $6,300. So let's take it for a quick test trip first, on the road anyways.
You're in. Taking on water? Oh god. Oh no.
Does it have like a reverse?
Yeah. It has a gas pedal though. Let's go buy one. She's smoking.
jet ski. You're acting like I can steer it. You like my latest purchase?
Love it.
It only goes in reverse.
Perfect.
What would you do if it went down the dam?
I'd drive away, I think.
Here, do you want me to? You want me
Yeah.
to try to pivot?
Oh, I got it. Woo! What a good way to spend $6 grand. Well, it didn't sink, didn't blow up, minor water leaks, and our sketchy drain plug didn't fall out. Show them the sketchy drain plug. Mint. Well, wouldn't you know it, we made it to the lake with this rickety old trailer. Not only did we make it to the lake, we made it in the lake. She's a ripper. Drove up 45 minutes to the lake. Trailer did great. No issues at all. Before we left, I replaced this line for this oil container thing that I still don't know what it does. And just in case, because obviously if we were to lose this here with that sketchy connection that was there, we would lose oil pressure. So that would have left us dead in the water. But got my sketchy drain plug in this thing. I could only get it to go in this way. 1-inch drain plug was too small. The 1 1/4 I just bought was too big. So we'll figure it out. But I was able to keep most of the water out of this thing. And we got her on the lake. I was just winging it, you guys. I mean, like I said, I really am not familiar enough with these things yet to know like where the valve was supposed to be as far as like how open it's supposed to be. It seemed like it was running cool, which I think is sometimes a problem with jet boats, is they just move so much water through the motor that you never get it warm enough. So I was kind of trying to play with the nozzles there, you know, see how much water we were letting in versus out the coolant hose there, and also not too much water through the headers here. Had a leak or two with these fittings, but I'm sure that, you know, those would just tighten up. Motor ran pretty good, sounded pretty good. Obviously I have like, I think this is a cheap ignition switch right here. Sometimes it's like it slips and you just gotta kind of fiddle with it and then it turns over. But other than that, this thing, once it's warm, for the first 15 seconds or so, you gotta kind of feather the throttle. But once it's warm, this thing idles really well. You guys probably heard it on the video. It seems like it needs some carb work, you know. Getting out of the hole, it sputters a little bit. Once the secondary's opened, it sputtered a little bit. But I mean, for basically pulling this thing out of the woods, the previous owner said it last ran like 2 years ago. I think it's been a lot longer than that. I'd say it's been at least 5 to 10 years since this thing has been on the water, maybe more. I mean, that fuel separator was dated. I don't even remember. I couldn't even read it. It was rusty inside. All the lines were super brittle. I think it's been a long, long time since this thing has been run on the water like that, and it did pretty damn well. I got just enough runtime, like 10 minutes of runtime today, to get me hooked. And I would have done more if it wasn't the middle of October. There's nobody on the lake. If this thing breaks down, there's no boats to tow me in. I'm paddling. Instead of being 75 degrees like it would be in July or August, the water temperature is in the 50s at this point. You know, just I didn't really want to go too far. I didn't want to push it, but I did get enough time on this thing to have a bunch of fun. Got the wife out there. Now the question is, what do we do with it? Obviously need some interior work. Forgot my seat altogether. These things probably need to be rebuilt and completely reupholstered. New carpet. I'd love to get rid of whatever this is. It was a real fun job replacing that, getting whatever asbestos powder is all under all of this in my eyes and in my lungs, so that was neat. But the big question is right here. You know, do I try and figure out this carb, put a different carb on it, or do we just take the 5.3 Gen 4 LC9 I have in my shed, throw some LS9 head gaskets and ARP head studs on it, maybe a couple of turbos, Holley Terminator, all new gauges, all that stuff, and just have a sick LS swapped twin turbo jet boat. That could be a fun late winter, early spring project. Let me know. What do you guys think? Should we leave it as is, leave the big block Ford in this thing? Or do we do, you know, what I know better, which is fuel injection and really make some power? I don't know what this thing makes. I mean, mostly stock rebuild, 30,000 over. A couple intake things here, headers, Holley 850 carb, 450, 500 maybe. Also, jet boat guys, let me know about this pump. You know, obviously it's a Panther, but I don't know much about it. We definitely want to get, I think it's called a droop snoop and a place diverter, so we can throw that 100-foot rooster tail. But yeah, just gotta figure out what direction to go with this thing. But bottom line is, I'm hooked. The itch has been scratched ever since I saw that boat shoot by 5 or 6 years ago with the headers sticking over the transom, throwing a big rooster tail. Sounded insane. That guy's me now, and I'm fired up about it. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the boat content, want to see more boat content. I'm obviously at the lake a lot in the summer. Been around boats my whole life, so this is what I like to do, almost as much as cars. So if you guys enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, would really help out the channel. If you have subscribed before, make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube tends to unsubscribe people. Not really sure why, but thank you guys as always for watching. Don't forget, sweatshirts are out for these cold winter days coming up. We'll catch you guys in the next one.